Hello everyone, my name is Elspeth, you're watching the Planeswalker Pantheon. Today. We are opening a whole collector booster box. Yes, that's of Kaldheim. Yes, this is a whole box here and I'm going to be cracking it open for you. You know, let's just get into it, shall we? You don't need me to ramble on why this is cool. I just scratch the box. Honestly, I love the treatment that Kaldheim has been given for this set, and just the whole sort of metal aesthetic that they've given to Kaldheim, you know, and for the alternate artwork of this set. It's so neat to me. Anyways, there's our 12 packs. I'm gonna do it like this and put it to the side. Alright, first pack. If you have not ever opened a collector's booster, I'll sort of go through the first pack of what it contains and you'll see what it is. So first up, we have a whole heap of foil commons and uncommons. Ooh, foil Snowland there. So there's our foil commons. So a couple of foil uncommons. Our foil snow basic. And we get a random card. So this one's actually from the list. No, not from the list. Is it? Huh. So actually, no, this is one from the commander deck. So this is a Spectral Deluge. So for 4 and 2 blue, you get a sorcery. Return each creature your opponent's control with toughness X or less to its owner's hand, where X is the number of islands you control. And you can foretell it for 1 and double blue. Our full art here is Reckless Crew. So for 3 and a red, you get a sorcery. You create X/2/1 red dwarf berserker creature tokens, where X is the number of vehicles you control plus the number of equipment you control. For each of those tokens, you may attach an equipment you control to it. Our foil rare is Rally the Ranks. So for 1 and a white, you get an enchantment. As it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. And we get to our showcase cards here. So this is Inga Rune Eyes in the really neat showcase frame. Our actual full art is the Henge Pathway, which is the white-blue land. We also get a foil in the showcase in Freya, Judge of Valor, and I love this artwork, by the way. And our foil full art is Masked Nexus. So for 4 mana, you get an artifact. Creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. And for 3 and tap, you get to create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter token with Changeling. And you also get a double-sided token, which is this one in this case is a Human Warrior and a Zombie Berserker. Alright, let's get to the next pack. Now that we've sort of gone through it, we know what to expect. We can just keep cracking in. So we'll have our foil commons. Oof, foil Demon Bolt's nice. Our foil uncommons. Man, that snow frame really kind of pops with the foiling. Our foil snow-covered basic. Our first rare is Herald Unites the Elves. So for 2, a black and a green, you get a Saga. The first chapter has you mill 3 cards. You may put an elf or Tyvar card from your graveyard onto the battlefield. The second chapter has you put a +1/+1 counter on each elf you control. And the third counter says whenever an elf you control attacks this turn, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Our first full art is Imstrom Predator. So for 2, a black and a red, you get a creature, vampire, dragon. It's a 3/3 with flying. When it enters, whenever it becomes tapped, you exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on the Predator. You sacrifice another creature. Imstrom Predator gains indestructible until end of turn, and you tap it. We have Rise of the Dreadman. So for 2 and a black, you get an instant. You create X/2/2 black zombie berserker creature tokens, where X is the number of non-token creatures that died this turn. You can foretell it for a single black. Our first showcase card is Harold, King of Skemfar, in this really neat artwork. I've actually never seen the artwork for that one. Our second one is Sigurd Godfavor. So for 2 and 2 white, you get a legendary creature, Human Warrior. It has flash. It's a 2/2. It has first strike and protection from god creatures. Note if you're playing around with changelings, it also has protection from those because god is a creature type. When it enters the battlefield, you exile the top up to 1 target attacking or blocking creature until Sigurd leaves the battlefield. Our foil showcase is Cole the Forge Master, which looks really neat there. Oh boy, we've gotten a foil Valky God of Lies. So for 1 and a black, you get a legendary creature God. It's a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent reveals their hand. For each opponent, exile a creature card they reveal this way until Valky leaves the battlefield. And for X, you can choose a creature card exiled with Valky with converted mana cost X. Valky becomes a copy of that card. And if we flip it over, we have a foil Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter. So for 5 and 2 black, you get a legendary Planeswalker Tybalt with 5 loyalty. As it enters the battlefield, you get an emblem you may play cards exiled with Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. Adding 2 loyalty lets you exile the top card of each player's library. Minusing 3 loyalty will have you exile a target artifact or creature, and minusing 8 will have you exile all cards from all graveyards and add 3 red. That is really nice. And, oh, we got a coil token. I've never actually seen these. So these are the coil tokens that Coma produces. That's really cool. And we've got an elf warrior on the back. Alright, 2 packs in. We've already opened a Valky. Now, the only thing I can think of wanting now is the, really neat, what's his name? Vorinclex in the Phyrexian writing. So we've got our foil commons here. Got our foil uncommons. Our foil snow basic. Our first red, I believe this is also from the commander deck, is Hero of Bretagard. So for 2 and a white, you get a creature human warrior. Whenever you exile 1 more cards from your hand and or permanents from the battlefield, you put that many +1/+1 counters on Hero of Bretagard. As long as Hero of Bretagard has 5 or more counters on it, it has flying and is an angel in addition to its other types. And if it has 10 or more counters on it, it has indestructible and is a god in addition to its other types. I'm just trying to think. Okay, foil rares will go here. Normal rares here. Our full art is Runeforge Champion. So for 2 and a white, you get a creature dwarf warrior. It's a 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library and or graveyard for a rune card, reveal it, put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. You may pay 1 rather than pay the mana cost for rune spells you cast. And we've got a foil Nico Aris. So for X, white, and 2 blue, you get a legendary Planeswalker Nico with 3 loyalty. When it enters the battlefield, you create X shard tokens. You can give them a loyalty. Up to 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. Whenever that creature deals damage this turn, return it to its owner's hand. You can -1 loyalty to have Nico Aris deal 2 damage to target creature for each card you've drawn this turn. You can also -1 to create a shard token. Alright, next up we have Morit of the Frost in that really cool showcase art. Actually, I should really put this Valky in with the showcases as well. I was just having a think about it, because technically they can come in foil. Our second one is Redain, God of the Worthy. So for 2 and a white, you get a legendary creature god. It's a 2/3 flying and vigilance. Snowlands your opponent's control enter the battlefield tapped. Non-creature spells your opponent's cast with converted mana cost 4 or greater cost 2 more to cast. Then it could be Valmira, Vault Protector's Shield. So for 3 and a white, you get a legendary artifact. If a source an opponent controls would deal damage to you or opponent you control, prevent 1 of that damage. Whenever you or another permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, counter that spell ability unless its controller pays 1. We've also got Marja Bretagard Protector in that showcase artwork. Oh, we got a foil full art Dream Devourer. So for 1 and a black, you get a creature Demon Cleric. It's an 0/3. Each non-land card in your hand without foretell has foretell. Its foretell cost is equal to its mana cost reduced by 2. Whenever you foretell a card, Dream Devourer gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Interesting note that I've read about this is, just say if this creature does end up dying, you still have that foretell ability attached to those cards, which is something I did not know. And we got a Tybalt Cosmic Imposter emblem with a Dwarf Berserker. Alright, next up. I don't know how this can get much better, to be honest. Just shift some of these over. Oop. Alright, let's go for this next one. Our foil commons, we've got another foil snow duel there. Silver Ice Shaper, foil Marja, foil basic. Our first rare is Battle of Frost and Fire. You know what to do here, guys. I'm not going to do it again. So for 3, a blue and a red, you get a saga that says Battle of Frost and Fire deals 4 damage to each non-giant creature and each planeswalker. The second chapter has you scry 3, and the third chapter says whenever you cast a spell with converted mana cost 5 or greater, this turn draw 2 cards and discard 1. Our first full art is Blood on the Snow. Insert your Smoke on the Water joke here. So for 4 and 2 black, you get a snow sorcery. Choose 1, destroy all creatures or destroy all planeswalkers. Then return a creature or planeswalker card with converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of snow spent to cast a spell. A key thing to note here is it did not have to be destroyed by this effect for it to actually work. Our foil rare is Old Growth Troll. So for triple green, you get a creature troll warrior. It's a 4/4 with trample. When it dies, and if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield. It's an aura enchantment with Enchant Forest you control, and has Enchanted Forest has tap, add 2 green, and for 1 and tap and sacrifice this land, create a tapped 4/4 green troll warrior creature token with trample. We've got a Carador Doomscourge in the showcase art. We've got a full art Alrund's Epiphany, like a full bleed Alrund's Epiphany. So for 5 and 2 blue, you get a sorcery. Create 2 1/1 blue bird tokens with flying. Take an extra turn after this one. Exile the Epiphany. You can foretell it for 4 and 2 blue. We have a Vega the Watcher. I really like this artwork actually for Vega. I actually kind of like it more than the normal artwork personally. And we've got a Sigurd Godfavored, but in foil this time, which is really neat. I'm not going to reread this one. And we have a Spirit Token and a Treasure. Alright. Some commons. Frostbite Fall is nice. Our uncommons, our foil basic. Got the Bounty of Scanfire. Geez, I'm seeming to get all the commander cards here. So for 2 and a green, you get a sorcery. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a land from among them onto the battlefield tapped, and an elf card from among them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. We've got a full art of the World Tree. The fact that this is not legendary still bothers me. It enters the battlefield tapped. It taps to add green. As long as you control 6 or more lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. And for double the Wooburg and tap and sacrifice the World Tree, search your library for any number of god cards, put them onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. Our foil rare is Magda Brazen Outlaw. So for 1 and a red, you get a legendary creature, Dwarf Berserker. It's a 2/1. Other dwarves you control get +1/+0. Whenever a dwarf you control becomes tapped, create a treasure token. Sacrifice 5 treasures, search your library for an artifact or dragon card, put that onto the card onto the battlefield, and shuffle your library. We have a Finn the Fangbearer there. We've got a Tergrid God of Fright. I think this actually does complete my playset of Tergrids now. And we have, for Tergrid God of Fright, I should have read this. For 3 and 2 black, the legendary creature God, it has menace, it's a 4/5. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, you may put that card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. And on the back, we have Tergrid's Lanterns. So for 3 and a black, you get a legendary artifact. Tap it, target player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. And for 3 and a black, untap the Lantern. We also have Harold, King of Skemfar here. And we've got a foil full art Realm Walker. So for 2 and a green, you get a creature shapeshifter. It has Changeling. As it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells of the chosen type from the bottom of your library. So from the top of your library, and it's a 2/3. And we've got a replicated ring, which is the ones that come from the ring artifact. I can't remember the name of it right now. And an elf warrior. Alright, here's the next pack. Our commons. Our uncommons. Oh, we've got a Port of Carfell there. Foil basic. I'm just hitting all the commander cards right now. So, Elderfang Venom is 2 and a black and a green for an enchantment. Attacking elves you control have Death Touch. Whenever an elf you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We've got a full art Pyre of Heroes. So, for 2 mana, get an artifact, 2 and tap, sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with the sacrificed creature and has converted mana cost equal to 1 plus that creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only at any time you can cast a sorcery. Our first foil rare is the Blood Sky Massacre. So for 1, a black and a red for a saga, you create a 2/3 red dim berserker creature token with menace. Whenever a berserker attacks this turn, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. And for the 3rd chapter, add red mana for each berserker you control. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. That's our foil rare. We've got Savala the Eye Shaper in the showcase frame. Arnie Broken Bow, also in the showcase. So for 2 and a red, you get a legendary creature, Human Berserker. It's a 3/3 with haste. You can boast it for a single generic mana. You may change Arnie Broken Bow's base power to 1 plus the greatest power among other creatures you control until end of turn. And we've also got Agar the Freezing Flame in the showcase. Oh, we've got a foil full art Hengegate Pathway there. That's really nice. And we've got a Shapeshifter token. Oh, these are really cool. I've never actually seen this one. And a Human Warrior. That's a really neat Shapeshifter, actually. It's probably the cooler design that I've seen around. Alright, so our commons. Our uncommons. Our basic. Again, I'm getting all the commander cards here. So for 3, you get Tales of the Ancestors, 3 and a blue for a sorcery. Each player with fewer cards in hand than the player with the most cards in hand draws cards equal to the difference, and you can foretell it for 1 and a blue. We've got a full art Calamity Bearer here. So for 2 and 2 red, it's a creature giant berserker. It's a 3/4. If a giant sorcerer you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. We've got a foil Cosmina God of the Voyage in the normal art. 2 and a blue, you get a legendary creature god. It's a 2/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile Cosmina. If you do, it gains whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. If Cosmina is exiled, you may put a Voyage counter on it. If you don't, return Cosmina to the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it and draw X cards, where X is the number of Voyage counters on it. And it also can be the Omen Kill. So for 1 and a blue, you get a legendary artifact vehicle to 3/3. Whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles that many cards from the top of their library. You may play lands from among those cards for as long as it remains exiled, and you can crew it for 1. Got a Vega the Watcher. Got a Tusky Bear of Secrets in the showcase frame. So for 3 and a green, you get a legendary creature Squirrel. It's a 1/1. It can't be countered. It's indestructible. It attacks each turn combat available. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. And we've got a foil Harold King of Skemfar. And we've got a foil full art Battle Mammoth. I actually opened one of these in my actual normal booster box. So for 3 and 2 green, you get a creature elephant. It's a 6/5 with trample. Whenever a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card and you can foretell it for 2 and 2 green. We have a giant wizard and elf warrior token there. Alright, let's see what else we've got here. This has been a pretty good box, I'm not going to lie. Our commons, our uncommons, Snow Basic. Alright, so we've got the Stoke Farmer. So for 3 and a white, you get a creature dwarf peasant. It's a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic plains card and reveal it. If an opponent controls more lands than you, put it onto the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library and can foretell it for 1 and a white. We've got a full art Icebreaker Kraken. So for 10 and 2 blue, you get a snow creature Kraken. It's an 8/8. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each snow land you control. When it enters the battlefield, artifacts and creatures target opponent controls don't untap during that player's next untap step. Return 3 snow lands you control to their owner's hand. Return Icebreaker Kraken to its owner's hand. We've got a foil Mystic Reflection. So for 1 and a blue, you get an instant. Choose a target non-legendary creature. Next time 1 or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies of the chosen creature. And you can foretell it for a single blue. Got a Call the Forge Master. We've got a normal Valky God of Eyes. Okay, sure. I'm not going to reread this again, but we got a normal one as well. Jeez. For Moriat of the Frost. And we've got a for Cosmina God of the Voyage. I'm not going to read the exact text, but I'm just going to showcase the artwork. This is so cool. Yeah, so this collector's box casually had 2 Tybalts in it. Okay, sure. Alright, commons, foil uncommons, basic. First rare is the Blood Sky Massacre. Our first foil is Skemfar Avenger, so for 1 and a black, you get a creature elf berserker. It's a 3/1. Whenever another non-token elf or berserker you control dies, draw a card and you lose a life. Our foil rare is Tundra Fumarole, so for 1 and 2 ready as Snow Sorcery. It deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Add colourless for each snow spent to cast the spell. Until the end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. We've got Sylvala the Ice Shaper. Another full art is Haunting Voyage, so for 4 and 2 black, you get a sorcery. Choose a creature type, return up to 2 creature cards of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield. If the spell is foretold, return all creature cards of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield instead. You can foretell for 5 and 2 black. Got a foil Nafi Betrayer King in the showcase frame. And a foil full art Calamity Bearer. And got a dragon and a human warrior. I mean, I'm not going to complain if I don't get the Vorinclex. But, I mean, this box had 2 Tybalts in it, so anything else special that I get is just going to be gravy. For commons, foil uncommons or foil normal fin, foil snow basic. Our first rare is Canopy Tactician, so for 3 and a green, you get a creature elf warrior. Other elves you control get +1/+1, you can tap it and add triple green. We've got a normal Maskwood Nexus in the full art. We've got a foil Cosmos Charger, so for 3 and a blue, you get a creature Horse Spirit, the 3/3 with flash and flying. Foretelling cards from your hand cost 1 less and can be done on any player's turn. You can foretell it for 2 and a blue. We've got Freya, Judge of Valor. We've got a full art Bark Channel Pathway right there, and Tide Channel. Got a Finn the Fanebearer in the showcase frame. We've got a foil full art in Search for Glory. So, for 2 and a white, you get a Snow Sorcery. Search your library for a Snow Permanent card, a Legendary card, or a Saga card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Gain 1 life for each snow mana spent to cast a spell. Got a Kaya emblem right here, and a treasure. This is the second last pack, guys. Let's get into this. Our commons and uncommons. Our snow basic. We've got a Cleaving Reaper, so for 3 and 2 black, you get a creature Anvil Berserker. It's a 5/3 with flying and trample. Pay 3 life, return the Reaper from your graveyard to your hand. Activate this ability only if you had an Angel or Berserker enter the battlefield under your control this turn. I think this is from one of the theme decks. Actually, some of these might have been from the theme decks, and I've just been misremembering. Our full art is in Search of Greatness, so for 2 green, you get an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a permanent spell from your hand. The converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the highest converted mana cost among other permanents you control, without paying its mana cost. If you don't, you scry 1. We've got a foil Vargoth Blood Sky Sire, so for 2 and a black, you get a legendary creature Demon Rogue. It's a 2/3 Death Touch. For 1 and a black, target player searches their library for a card, then shuffles their library and puts that card on top of it. We've got an Agar the Freezing Flame in the thing. We did hit a Vorinclex. It's just the showcase artwork right here. So for 4 and 2 green, you get a legendary creature Phyrexian Praetor. It's a 6/6 with trample and haste. If 1 or more counters be put onto a permanent player, put twice that many of each of those kinds onto that permanent player instead. If an opponent would put 1 or more counters on a permanent player, they put half that many of each of those kinds onto that permanent player instead, rounded down. We have a Corridor of the Doom Scourge, and we've got a Reflections of Lit Jara. So for 4 and a blue, you get an enchantment. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, you copy that spell. And we got a bear and an elf warrior. One thing I've got to say about the fact the bears, they did not put Runeclaw Bear into this set that mentions runes. I know it's just a small gripe, but it's a gripe all the same. And I'm going to take my gripes where I can get them, damn it. This is the last pack, guys. There's our commons, our uncommons, our basic. Our first rare is Showdown of the Skull. So for 2 red and a white, you get a Saga. Exile the top 4 cards of your library until end of turn. Until the end of your next turn, sorry, you may play those cards. The second and third chapter says, whenever you cast a spell this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. We got a full art Rally the Ranks, which is a little dinged on the top. Got a normal foil Bark Channel pathway and Tide Channel. Got a Finn the Fangbearer in the showcase. Cosmina, God of the Voyage. I'm not going to read these because I've already read them. We've got an Inga Runeyes, and we've got a foil Toski, Bearer of Secrets. Got our Spirit and Dwarf Berserker as our last token. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This was actually a pretty good box. I mean, who can complain about double Valky, am I right? Anyway, guys, don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe. It lets people know that we exist and that we are creating content. You can find me on Twitter. Links are down below. You can also find the Planeswalker Pantheon on Facebook. Links are also in description. Anyway, guys, I hope you... Actually, before I go, I nearly forgot this. I can't believe I actually nearly forgot this. I have right here, and I was meant to do this in the last video, I have right here a code for Magic the Gathering Arena. Right, so that's right there. So if you know someone who needs to use it, or, you know, if you haven't used one yourself, that one's more than welcome for you guys to use. Anyways, like I said before, don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you later.